Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, October 5, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let's just take a look at the Atlantic hurricane and tropical storm activity based on data from 1944 to 2020. And we can see that we are somewhere right in here, considering that it's October 5. So we just passed the peak of Atlantic hurricane season, that's September 10. So we're well on our way to be wrapping up the hurricane season in general. But clearly the hurricane season is back end loaded. So lots of systems currently taking place, many of them out to sea thankfully, but I believe there's something that's going to be affecting Florida, and we know that there are a lot of Jamaicans who live in Florida. So get in contact with them today, because if you haven't heard, there is a tropical storm now, that's Milton, soon to be a major hurricane that's headed their way. If we take a look at what usually happens, where we usually have these storm systems forming, all of these yellow dots represent where we've had something form, and this is based on data from 1851 to 2023, and this is usually between the time period from October 1 to October 10. So from October 1 to October 10, 1851 to 2023, these are where we've had the storm systems forming. We see a lot of them right here across the Eastern Pacific. Some of them even made it across into the Atlantic. And we see a lot of them across the main development region into the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico as well. And we definitely have a lot of them taking place right now. Well, about 3 of them actually. And before we even show you what's happening on the National Hurricane Center's website, these are the typical tracks. We know it's October. We usually have them coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, the Western Caribbean right there, sometimes the Eastern Caribbean. But the fact that we have a lot of systems out here in the main development region is just a telltale sign that the Atlantic is very active, especially the very warm sea surface temperatures. And let us take a look at these sea surface temperatures before we even move on to what the Hurricane Center is showing. We can see all of the yellows, the oranges, even some reds in there that represent the way above normal sea surface temperatures. And we know sea surface temperatures, we're talking about how warm the waters are at the surface, at the skin of the ocean in general. And this is what the hurricanes like. They suck up all of this warm water and then they use it to build clouds, showers, and thunderstorms, and in turn strengthening hurricanes in general. And we can also see the La Nina coming on nicely. Keep in mind that this is as of their latest update that just came out on October 4, so considering that it's October 5 right now, it makes sense. We're getting there. It's still neutral conditions, even though it's looking like La Nina. We haven't had the official update from NOAA stating that it's La Nina as yet. It's only a matter of time. Either way, we've been getting systems since Beryl, since we've been having neutral conditions. We know neutral conditions, we basically have a lack of activity across the Eastern to the Central Pacific in terms of storms. So we would have less wind shear tearing the tops of these thunderstorms off, and that was what was taking place since July of this year when we had Beryl, and we're expected to get into a La Nina like pattern, which even more favors the Atlantic and shuts down the Pacific in general. And well, we don't even need La Nina this year, considering that we have so many systems taking place across the Atlantic in general. It's gonna be interesting to see how all of this La Nina like weather pattern unfold as we head into 2025. And I want you to keep in mind that it's not about how warm the waters are at the skin of the ocean at the sea surface temperatures, but the waters are warm the deeper we go into the ocean. Look at all of this. The yellows, the oranges, the reds, especially around Hispaniola, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Cuba, Florida, Central America, and the Bahamas. That's where we have that deep, warm water. And this is as of their latest update that just came out on October 1. Usually it's very updated, very up to date. Don't know why there is such a long period without the update. Either way, I'm sure considering that's just what 4 days out, it's not that much of a difference in terms of the very warm water. If we have a system to be stalling out over this, it's just gonna be churning up even more warm water, because you know sometimes the sea surface temperatures can be upwelled in general and leave a cool wake. So some of these oranges, some of these yellows can turn to blue if we have hurricanes sitting over that area. But given how warm the waters are, the deeper into the ocean we go, the system is definitely going to be, or the systems, if we get any to stall out over there, are definitely going to be churning up even more warm water and strengthening in general. So we're glad that we don't have anything out there taking advantage of this very warm ocean heat content right now. If we take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather look, we can see that we now have Tropical Storm Milton across the western Gulf of Mexico. We can see that we still have Hurricane Kirk right there across the center of the North Atlantic. We see to the southeast of Kirk we have Hurricane Leslie. To the east of Leslie we have a disturbance that has a 30% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And if we take a look at the infrared satellite images from tropicaltidbits.com, we can make out all of these entities. We have Milton right there, showers and thunderstorms associated with him. We have Hurricane Kirk right there. By the way, just for reference, we see the Eastern Caribbean here, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, Jamaica, South America right there, Central America, Cuba, Bahamas, the United States. And right here to the southeast of Kirk, we have Hurricane Leslie. And what's to come of that era that has a low chance of development, that code yellow, is still right there coming off of Africa. Definitely interesting for October. Usually October we don't see much happening across this part of the basin. This part of the basin usually shuts down, and the Western Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico or the Southwestern Atlantic is where most of the action is at. So definitely quite an interesting back-end loaded hurricane season in general. Alright, so let's give you guys the stats regarding newly formed Tropical Storm Milton. We can see that as of right now, he's packing maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. So that definitely makes Milton a low-end tropical storm in general. Let's see the Saffir-Simpson wind scale right here. Alright, so here we go. Definitely a low-end tropical storm. As we can see, the wind, we know in order to be a tropical storm, we have to have winds circulating around that center of around 39 to 73 miles per hour. Considering that it's packing 40 mile per hour winds right now, it's just a low-end tropical storm moving towards the northeast right now at 3 miles per hour. So it's moving very slowly as we speak, and it's expected to start shooting off towards the east and then towards the east northeast, and then look at that, it's expected to become an H that represents hurricane status as early as 1 a.m. on Monday, then become an M. Earlier this week we didn't see the M's, we saw H's. Now the hurricane center is becoming more confident that it could become a major hurricane, and we know that major hurricanes are anywhere from category 3 to 5 strength, anywhere from 111 mile per hour winds all the way up to 157 plus miles per hour. Hopefully it doesn't get anything more than a category 3. As a matter of fact, hopefully it doesn't even get there. Hopefully the hurricane center and the models are wrong and it doesn't get to major hurricane status, because that would be detrimental, especially if it hits that area known as Tampa, Florida, that we've been hearing that if a system like Milton actually makes landfall in Tampa, not trying to fearmonger, but it could be quite a devastating situation, especially given the damage in terms of storm surge that it could bring forth to the area. We know that Florida in general is flat. Either way, get in contact with your family today. We know that we have a lot of friends or relatives who live in Florida or work in Florida, and we know these systems can cause power outages. This is quite something, considering that they just had Helene like a little over a week ago, and now they're having Milton. This is just ridiculous. Let's switch gears and talk a bit about what's expected in terms of the tropical storm force wind probabilities. We can see right here, these are just representing the chances of tropical storm force winds, and we see the oranges, the reds, that increase anywhere from 50 all the way up to what, 80% chance, especially on the west coast of Florida, for them receiving tropical storm force winds. Definitely going to be causing damage, if not power outages. We can also see the amount of rainfall that's expected from Milton. Look at all of this. The greens that we know represent 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. The yellows into the oranges that represent 4 to 6 inches of rainfall. And we can even see the reds in there, but most of the reds seem to be out to sea, and we're indeed grateful for that. Either way, there's a lot of rain headed for Florida once again. And with already saturated ground, this could be quite a bad situation. Flash flooding could easily take place. Alright, so let us talk about Hurricane Kirk for a second. It's still right there across the northern portions of the North Atlantic, now almost to the east of Bermuda. It is moving towards the north at 20 miles per hour, and it is packing maximum sustained winds of 120 miles per hour. So it's somewhere right here, still category 3 strength, just a medium range category 3. 120 right there, smack dab in the middle. So it's still a major hurricane as we speak, and we can see that's expected to downgrade back to an H. That's a hurricane, so no longer gonna be a major hurricane as it is right now. And then it's expected to push towards the east as a tropical storm, and then head into Western Europe, France, England. They might definitely get in on some amount of bad weather coming Wednesday into Thursday, as we can see right there, the timestamp. Definitely quite interesting times ahead. As of right now, Kirk is moving to the north at 20 miles per hour. If we look at the stats of Hurricane Leslie, earlier this week, Leslie was forecast to become an M. That's a major hurricane following in the footsteps of Kirk. But as of the latest update, we see that even though it's moving towards west-northwest at 8 miles per hour right now, packing maximum sustained winds of 80 miles per hour, which makes Leslie a category 1, just a mid-grade category 1 right there, 80 miles per hour right there, smack dab in the middle between 74 and 95 miles per hour winds. It's expected to push northwestward, remaining a hurricane until Monday morning, then back down to a tropical storm Tuesday into Thursday right there. But it's expected to continue moving northwestward. Gonna be interesting to see if it actually makes that curve like what Kirk did, or if it actually makes it as far as Bermuda in general. We'll see how that goes, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Regarding the brand new era closer to Africa that has a chance of development, we see that earlier this week it was tilted more in this kind of fashion from east to west, giving us the impression that it could possibly head more west. But we're indeed grateful that it's starting to tilt a bit more to the northwest, more fish storms in general. That's what we want to see. It hasn't come off of Africa as yet. If it did, there would have been an X somewhere, if not here, somewhere here, and then you see the arrow like what the Hurricane Center would do. Either way, as of right now, the Hurricane Center states here, let's see the statistics, let's read. A tropical wave is expected to move off the west coast of Africa in a few days. Some development of this system is possible thereafter while it moves westward or west-northwestward across the eastern tropical Atlantic. This system is expected to move near or over the Cabo Verde Islands on Wednesday and Thursday, and interest there should monitor its progress. And we see that they've given it a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 30% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see the area of Spain and the isobars right there associated with Kirk. Same goes here for Leslie. And we can see that we have that ridge of high pressure to the north that we know is steering these systems. First, we have Kirk pushing more north and northeastward around that ridge of high pressure. And we have Leslie right there expected to push northwestward. It all makes sense. Everything goes around the ridge of high pressure in a clockwise fashion. But most of the times we know they're not going to be spinning all the way back around and going down into the Sahara Desert, then curving back around into the Atlantic. But they're definitely going to be headed more so towards Europe. If we take a look back at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of the entities. Newly formed Milton right there, Kirk right here, Leslie right here, and the tropical wave that's expected to have a low chance of development across Africa right there. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on a prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Saturday, October 5, 2024. It was predicted that we would have had some morning rainfall across sections of some northern parishes, and then we would have had some afternoon rainfall across sections of some southern parishes in Jamaica. And just for reference, we know northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawny, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, while southern parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes on the bottom side of the island, like Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And what ended up happening? As early as 6:05 a.m., the infrared satellite image was posted here on our Twitter page. And I want for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page at Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we saw that the infrared satellite image that we know showed the high cold cloud tops, the cumulonimbus clouds in general, represented by the blues, the greens, the yellows, oranges, not to mention the sparkling white dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes, were definitely taking place across sections of northern parishes in Jamaica, just as predicted. Anywhere from Portland westward, St. Mary, St. Anne, even portions of Trelawny got in on some of the action as well this morning. And then by around 12:46 p.m. we started to get in on the action across southern parishes in Jamaica. And I live in a southern parish. I live in St. Thomas. And I definitely got in on some of the heavy rainfall this afternoon. I'm indeed grateful for that. I haven't gotten in on afternoon rainfall like that in a long time. So we definitely had the isolated showers and even some thunderstorms across sections of St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, section of Clarendon and Manchester, St. Elizabeth, but at that time it was more confined to St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine and Manchester at around 12:46 p.m. And then we saw the live cam from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, which is down right now, by the way. Down right now, but at that time we definitely saw that we were having some light to moderate to even some slightly heavy rainfall across portions of Halfway Tree. We definitely saw it picking up. We saw it as well on the Crossroads cam, as well as the Barbican cam, even some rain on the Flatbridge cam. But as of right now, for some reason, See Jamaica's live streams are down. These things can happen. Could be power outages, could be issues with the internet. We know these things go. Either way, even after that, another post was made here on our Twitter page highlighting the infrared satellite image at around 2:05 p.m. and we saw the high cold cloud tops, we saw the thunderstorms, we saw what the daytime heating brought about. Some thunderstorms, especially across St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrews, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, even portions of Hanover and Westmoreland got in on some of the action too. And we can see it all even better on the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the summer done. We saw the clouds building and then the high cold clouds being blown off towards the south for sure. And even as the sun was going down, we still had some clouds coming into portion of northern Jamaica, St. Mary's, Portland got in some isolated thunderstorms before all was said and done with the day. If we take a look at the very latest infrared satellite image, by the way, before we even look at that, I think we definitely had some comments coming in to confirm the rainfall. So let's go to these comments. Let's see. Yeah, man, there is definitely some amount of rainfall confirmation from some of our followers. Here on our Twitter page, we have them coming in, and we're going to be checking our Instagram page as well, even on our Facebook page. So we had them still. A scam was stating yesterday was extremely hot, and I knew we were about to experience some rainy weather. Dalton Spence stating, just experienced heavy rain in Portmore, wet up my clothes on the line, giving thanks anyway. AstraZen21.ja stating, steady drizzle here in Harborview, Bull Bay area. We also have blazing fire right here, drizzling and thunder rolling here in southeast St. Elizabeth. Melona Palmer stating rain drizzling in Clarendon. And if we check out our Instagram page with the comments, let's read and see what took place. Alright, so here we go. Right here. Alright, so here we have forever_K flawless stating, God smiled on us Portmorians today, love it, but then Dotty JPS had to enter the chat and want to steal the show. Loy Fabulous stating, love this for Portmore. Kel4011 stating, loving the rain in Portmore. It's.me.dog is stating, rain, lightning and thunder in Portmore till all light gone. R_Mona_GH_CA stating, a lot of rain in Mona. Shanna_Sweetness stating, rain just done shell Yala St. Thomas. TT_Gooden stating, rainy in Kingston. We have another comment here from Hilo_official stating, midday here. Asks God, I want me do to the thunder them are frighten me. And let's see another one right here. Genol2405, I'm loving it. It's raining and the weather fantastic. Let's see if we had anything coming in on our Facebook page. Let's see right here. Come on, definitely had some comments coming in on our Facebook page about the rain. Here we go. We have Gavin Thompson right here stating, we definitely getting a lot of rain in Maypen. Sash Shea stating, raining in northeast St. Elizabeth. I will read, nice little shower in Portmore. Faith Emmanuel Apostolic Paradise stating, overcast in Cornwall, St. Elizabeth. Shanique Cassandra, raining in Clarendon. Jackie Bint, on and off rain showers in southern Trelawney Cockpit Country. So that indeed confirms the rainfall that took place across portions of the island today. And if we take a look at the latest still image, you can see that most of the activity has cleared out for the most part as of the latest image that just came out. Let's see, is it the latest image that just came out? I don't know, some of these images have been glitching out all week, as a matter of fact all month. But we see the latest image here as of 35 minutes past the hour, so I guess that's 7:35 p.m. Jamaica time. That's long ways from this time. That was what, 30 minutes ago. Either way, we can see that for the most part, most of the activity has cleared out, and we can match it to what we're seeing on the latest Cuban Doppler radar images. Most of the island in the clear. Just some few isolated shores right there to the northeast of Portland, with the greens, the yellows that represent some moderate to slightly heavy rainfall. And we can definitely match that Cuban Doppler radar image to what we're seeing here on the Guantanamo Bay naval radar station, we can definitely make out all of that rainfall that we just saw right there to the northeast of Portland. The greens, the yellows within those greens that represent some light to moderate to heavy, slightly heavy rainfall. Some of that rainfall right there to the southwest of the Haitian Peninsula. And as relates to what's going on the Cayman radar, not seeing much happening in and around the Cayman Islands right now. Just some rainfall right there to the northeast of the Cayman Islands coming off of Cuba. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Sunday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Sunday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Sunday. And we can see Jamaica for the most part embedded in some grays and some slight yellow colors. That we know represents average to slightly above average temperatures, at least 1 degree Celsius above normal temperature. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of October across Jamaica are about the same as 89 degrees Fahrenheit. When calculated, 89 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 31.6 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 31 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Sunday. Either way, we know the tips to beat the heat, especially during the morning. Always stay hydrated, drink lots of water, stay away from those sugary drinks. You can never go wrong when you're eating a lot of fruits. Watermelons, apples, grapes are your best friend. Stay indoors, make use of the fans and AC, and don't forget to check in on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Don't want to hear any bad news about any heat-related illnesses at all. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Sunday, we can still see that much of the Caribbean, North America, South America, Central America in the clear, as all of the browns that represent the Saharan dust should be across the eastern portions of the North Atlantic from the main development region northward, right there, even wrapping into Kirk. Definitely ingesting some of that. Definitely gonna be, weakening the system in general back to a hurricane instead of that major hurricane status. And we can also see Leslie ingesting some of that dry air as well right there. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can still see that we're having a lot of high wave heights fanning out from Kirk, stretching from Kirk all the way across into the northeastern Caribbean waters, the Bahamas, the eastern coast of the US, which explains all the swells that we've been hearing about. We see the purples, we see the burgundies that represents 2 all the way to 9 meter wave heights or more. You can also see the high wave heights associated with Tropical Storm Milton across the Gulf of Mexico. We can also see the high wave heights associated with Leslie right there across the main development region. It all makes sense because the waves are going to be high, because the winds are going to be high, and we can see the winds right here spinning around the areas of low pressure associated with these systems. Highest winds right there around Kirk. The yellows, the burgundies, all the way up into the hurricane status equivalent, because all of this is in knots. We can see the wind spinning around right here around Leslie, and the wind spinning around right here around Milton. While the Caribbean in general getting in on more blues and light shades of greens than anything else. That represents anywhere from 0 to 5 knots, maybe even up to 10 knots at most. And we see that the winds are not strong at all, especially with the wind direction. Look at the wind direction. We see kind of a southerly flow across the eastern Caribbean, a kind of southerly to easterly flow across the central Caribbean, pushing northward across the western Caribbean. But if we take a look at the close-up of Jamaica, quite an interesting day tomorrow. We can see that the Euro is a bit different from the GFS in a way. The Euro has more easterlies across the northern portions of the island, and we see the kind of southeasterlies right there across the southwestern waters of the island. Let's see what the GFS is showing. GFS is showing something similar to what happened today. More of a northeasterly or east northeasterly kind of flow on the north coast, and then the south coast we can see right there coming in more so from the south. Either way, we see that all of the air is going to be piling up across inland areas of some eastern, central, and western parishes. That's where we have the darkest blues. That's where we're going to be having the least amount of winds. So that's where the cumulus clouds are going to become mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds, when we have that daytime heating. So look out for that afternoon rainfall again. And with the upper-level winds coming in from the northeast or from the east-northeast tomorrow, it could favor more of that afternoon rainfall, if not overcast skies, to portions of southern Jamaica again, just like today. So look out for that. If you're living in Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, definitely some afternoon rainfall could be in the forecast for us once again. But look at what the rainfall forecast maps are predicting. We see that we don't have much to do with rainfall for the morning. We can't rule out some morning rainfall though, again for northern Jamaica or eastern Jamaica. We'll see how that goes. Either way, this is what we're seeing in terms of consensus, in terms of agreement on both the Euro and the GFS models. We see the Euro model right here showing the blues that represent rainfall at around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time across eastern, central, and western parishes in Jamaica, especially across the northwest. That's where we see the darkest blues. The GFS, however, is showing rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes, with the darkest blues across southern and eastern parishes. So we have consensus and we have disagreement. We have some contrast and we have some similarities. We shall see how it goes either way. The forecast for tomorrow is going to be for afternoon rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes in Jamaica. It's going to be interesting to see which side gets the most rainfall. Will it be the Euro showing most of the rainfall on the northern and western side? Will it be the GFS showing most of the rainfall on the southern and eastern side with the darkest blues? Either way, we know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. We see that both accumulated precipitation forecast maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus that within the next 24 hours we're going to be getting some amount of rainfall across the island. Euro showing the most rainfall with the reds across sections of the east and the west, where we see the 1 inch of rainfall, as we can see by the key on the right. GFS showing the oranges and the reds within those oranges that represent what, 0.75 or maybe close to 1 inch of rainfall across central and eastern Jamaica. We'll see how that goes. Either way, we're indeed grateful. We are in the month of October. In October, we shall receive close to 200 millimeters of rainfall for the month of October in Kingston. In Montego Bay, we shall receive close to 9 inches of rainfall for the month of October. And you can use this little graphic right here to do the math regarding inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. So it's what, 7 inches, maybe 8.5 inches of rainfall is about the same as what, 212 millimeters for Montego Bay. Almost 200 millimeters of rainfall for Kingston is almost the same as 8 inches of rainfall. Either way, we're indeed grateful that we're going to be getting some amount of rainfall tomorrow somewhere across the island to cool down the temperatures. And keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish receives throughout the year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So regardless of Milton right there, regardless of Kirk right here, regardless of Leslie right here, we're still seeing that we're getting in on some amount of rainfall in and around the Caribbean island, anywhere from northern South America northward. And if we zoom into the Doppler radar images, we can actually make out some of these rain bands to the south of Puerto Rico, to the north of Puerto Rico, in and around Dominica right there. Let's reload these images from earlier today to see what took place. Definitely had some afternoon rainfall in and around the Dominican Republic, sections of Puerto Rico from the east to the western portion of the island for sure. Let's see the Leeward Islands, not much in the way of rainfall, But if we take a look at the Barbados radar, we do see some rain bands in and around the island. Some of these rain bands coming into western Barbados right now. We see kind of a flow from, I think, the south, if I'm not mistaken, maybe southwest to northeast. I think we can see that, and we can also make out some rain bands in and around St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Some of this rain right there to the west and to the east of Martinique, as well as to the west of St. Lucia. We'll see how that goes and plays out tonight. And if we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rain bands across sections of Guyana, northeastern and northwestern Venezuela, Colombia, the waters to the east of Nicaragua, sections of Honduras, the Yucatan Peninsula, section of western Cuba and Florida. Definitely getting in on some amount of rain, as well as section of the Dominican Republic too. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Sunday. And we do see the consensus for rainfall across sections of Florida, Cuba, the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe. Don't see much in the way of rainfall for majority of the Leeward Islands, but we do see some rainfall for portion of Puerto Rico, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, section of southeastern Cuba, and even portions of the northwestern Bahamas. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.